Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Kyle Rojas. I'm interviewing the glorious man himself. Kyle, how are you today?
Hey, welcome to the channel, man. This is the first kind of interview that we're doing, other than like guests on podcasts. But
Thanks,
yeah,
man. I appreciate it. It's like the first interview I've ever done for like music wise. Dude, it's like super hot today. I can't even tell you.
oh
I was just
jeez.
Oh
like
man,
I woke up and I was like, yo, I need to make some breakfast. But while I was making my spam, because spam and rice is the best combination.
Hey,
Filipinos.
I know.
Like I was just like,
What
yo,
the,
I'm like dying here.
that clip? You just said spam and rice and egg too, right? I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, he is
Oh yeah,
Filipino.
of course. Of
See,
course. I
that's how we that's how we do it. That's like traditional like comfort food
You
for
gotta get the
anyone,
oh for
Vienna
sure.
especially yeah.
sausages.
Yeah, if there's no ulam, you just make spam or Vienna sausage and then, put that together with rice and you're like, yo, fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't matter
Oh,
what
it's
time of day
fantastic.
it is. Halo halo every time.
I don't know. I'm indifferent about that one to be
Oh
honest.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
like whenever I get it, bro, I just eat the ube ice cream because like I'm a big ube ice cream guy.
Yeah. You know what? I don't care for all the weird fruit stuff, and I'm just like, just give me the taro ice cream or whatever.
it's different. I mean, like, there's certain combinations of fruits that you can mix in with halo halo, and then you add corn, and just like you can't mix ice and sweet stuff with just like something that's meant for.
With corn,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
I mean, hey, you guys can do what you want, but I kind of just eat it
yeah.
because it's there, but just like it's not my favorite. Flan
No,
though.
I love
Leche.
the whole.
Hmm.
The whole is really
Taho?
good.
Oh, I like that one too.
Yeah.
Leche flan. Leche flan.
Oh yeah,
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 see.
for sure.
Hmm.
That too.
Heck yeah.
Mango float though I think is top tier for me. I think that's my favorite all time.
Yeah, I see.
Heck yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Well, it's obvious we are a Filipino pride. So for those who don't know, Kyle Rojas here makes music. So my first question is, how is being a Filipino American influence your music, Kyle?
Uh, obviously I grew up in America, so like I'm always with around like the American pop scene and stuff. So you don't really get to see a lot of Filipino artists hit the top 50 charts here, right? Except for Bruno Mars. But
Yet,
uh,
yet
you
you
know,
say.
it's what I usually do is try to stay to my roots and somehow get some inspiration from the Philippines or like artists that I listen to there, and I try to incorporate that in my music as best as I can. I like the old school like Filipino R&B type of stuff.
Last time we spoke, you mentioned having a song dedicated to the motherland. Could you elaborate on that?
Oh yeah, so during my freshman year of college, I I had to write a song for one of my friends. He wanted to challenge me creatively because like he knew that I write music. Um, so what I came up with was basically I wrote a song in half English and half Tagalog. So you would get like an English line and then a Tagalog line afterwards, so they just followed each other. But I made it so you would think for I think like three-fourths of the song that I'm talking about a girl, and then at the end of the song I reveal to you that I'm actually talking about the Philippines the whole time. So it kind of just like comes together into this like aha moment where it's like, oh wow, all the stuff he was describing was actually about a country, not a girl.
Essentially, almost
Hmm.
creating a double meaning, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It was actually pretty fun to see the reactions from the crowd. Um, when they were like, "Oh, it's just another cheesy love song," like, "Oh God, here he goes talking about this girl and all that stuff." And then when they got to the Philippines part, they were just like, "Oh my God, like what? That's crazy," like, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, it worked. I pulled it off." It was a huge relief, honestly, for me.
You pulled off M. Night Shyamalan plot twist,
How do you react though?
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, like, I feel like that's just the thing with people here in America too. Yeah, America too. Just like if you like sing a different language, you're either referencing a girl or like a love interest, or actually, that's mostly it. I mean, yeah, you never expect someone to be like, oh, he's talking about something else, a physical, like, a country, physical place, right?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, one part that got me thinking like that was Camila Cabello, her song Havana, when it was basically like an ode to Cuba. You know, I was like, it's very obvious that she's talking about Cuba and Havana itself, you know. But it plays this like whole like story between a girl and a guy, right? So I was just
Yeah.
like, okay, how can I take that and then make it my own thing? So I thought like luring people into thinking it's just your typical like love song would be cool, and then I kind of like 360 it. So then now you see I'm talking about the Philippines instead, you know.
That's nice. Yeah,
Super
actually.
creative.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
it,
it took so many rough drafts, man. You have no idea. It was just rejection after rejection. And then when I finally got it, I was like, oh, I hope this really sticks, you know.
yeah, I'm actually wondering how like is your typical songwriting process? You know, if you had any words of encouragement through future aspiring musicians like that.
Um, I'm not gonna lie, I don't always have like a hot hand when I'm writing music. Sometimes I have like a writer's block, and it can get pretty frustrating. Usually, I just whenever I'm feeling a sort of strong emotion within myself, I kind of just try to write down how I'm feeling in the form of a song, because I feel like I'm much more better with my words and music rather than actually speaking it out loud. I feel like I'm awful at that, but somehow I can translate it into music, and I think that makes the difference. So like I feel like if I were to give any sort of advice towards any like aspiring songwriters, it would have to be along the lines of just like once you're feeling a certain emotion, you just have to run with it, you know? You can't just like be like hey, today I'm just gonna write a couple songs, you know, and then force yourself. I think if you force yourself to write music, I think it comes off as unauthentic. So like when you're at that true like point of vulnerability, I think it works out best for not only the writer, but I think the music itself.
Yeah, you got to let the art, you know, naturally translate your emotions. A lot of bigger artists will talk about how you shouldn't do it for, you know, for a paycheck, more do it for the love of it, you know? So it's cool. You
I
got
mean,
it
that's
down
how I
pat.
feel about it, like 100%. You
Mhm.
know, it's like, um, you know, obviously some people do it for music, do it for money, sorry, and some other people do it for clout because it looks cool. You know, they want to
Yeah,
be cool. But I think the best type of music and what gets popular or should be popular is the music that's authentic. You know, you don't really want anything in return. You kind of just want to keep giving and giving and giving. Oh, if you see people running around, I'm in my house, you know, quarantined, so it's just my
I
yeah,
family.
know. It's just
that's
these
the
time of
life.
day, man. Seriously. Yeah.
Oh, I got a
We can't.
question. You know,
Yeah.
speaking of quarantine, like how has that affected, you know, free time in the creative writing process?
I think it would help. I think it helps
Yeah,
more
right?
because, you know, you're locked in your room. It's either Call of
Yeah.
Duty or something else, you know?
Well, actually, it's more of a maintenance. Yeah, it's more of a you can do whatever you want when you're like locked in the house. For
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
people take it in a way of I can actually start grinding, get things done, and then me and Christian here, and yes, me and Christian we're just like it's cool. We're playing video games. It's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
luckily we're doing this. Is like all right, we're grinding also with it too.
I'll always say that
Yeah.
COVID is the renaissance of creativity. So nowadays all these musicians are dropping out albums out like nothing. And you know,
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, the pandemic is terrible. You know, it stopped a lot of things that, you know, everybody had going for this whole year. You know, you had high expectations when it came New Year's, and then, like, it just didn't work out, you know? And
yeah,
so, I think you have to find ways to find like some sort of silver linings within the like darkness of this time period. So I personally just try to stay as productive as I can, but like I'm naturally a procrastinator, so sometimes I just sit down and play Call of Duty for like the whole day.
hmm
definitely.
Did you actually
Speaking
expect this like year to go as it is? Like I remember too when New Year's came in, like when it hit 12, fireworks started rolling. We were just like, okay, I'm gonna do this here. Like I'm gonna make this type of goal now, and then like the first bad thing that ever happened here was like I believe something country conflict. I guess I think we killed someone after
Oh,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You're
It
talking
was
about the
just like
whole
that.
yeah.
hmm
you know that's
Well,
what
I
I
mean,
like
like,
about
didn't the
music.
year start off with the girl getting slapped by the Pope? Didn't it start off like that?
Started out with a bang.
Did, did it?
I
I
think
don't
the
remember
Pope.
actually.
I think the Pope slapped someone's hand because she grabbed onto him too hard. So
I
that's
think
when
you
I
might be
was
right.
kind of like, how did the year start off with the Pope slapping someone? It just didn't make any
Oh
sense to.
man, seriously, yeah. It literally went from like yeah, conflict countries, and then wildfire in Australia, and all of a sudden pandemic. Just
Yeah,
You know
this
what?
this whole year has been
yeah,
crazy, man.
That's a good point because whenever there's like times of trouble, music can really help someone's emotions, you know, come to thought. So my question is, which one of your songs to you have you felt the most emotion pour out of? Which one was difficult to write, or that you found
oh
yourself in a
wow,
catharsis?
Um,
hitting you with the big
I could
stuff. No, I'm just
confidently
kidding.
tell you, I could tell you that there are two songs that I wrote, and like I was just in tears, like afterwards, because like it was just like a lot of emotion. I was just pouring out, and I was just like, oh God, like I hate this emotion, but like it's just gotta go. I think the first song that ever made me feel like that was "It's Heaven Doesn't Feel So Far Away," and then the second one, which I think is my most favorite I've written so far, is "Home."
Um,
But there, I think at times of troubles, some people just deal with it in different ways. I just deal with it through like writing music or just like talking to people. I think it helps to cope, I guess.
Yeah, it's a creative expression. Speaking of Heaven Doesn't Feel So Far Away, which is one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites is a song you dedicated to your Lolo, your grandpa, Come Back and Stay, right?
Yeah, yeah. I wrote "Come Back and Stay" a long time ago, and it was the first type of song I ever just like wrote and then recorded myself singing, and it was a tough song because um, like my grandpa used to always like comment on all my Facebook posts like a normal Filipino grandpa would. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's just
I
like,
can
oh, you're
relate.
so
Yeah.
boogie, just like me and stuff. So like I was so used to that every time like I would post something, whether it just be like a share or like a picture of myself, like there was always a comment be like, oh, you're just like me, or something like that. Um, so like I always appreciated it, and like I always considered him as like one of my biggest fans, biggest supporters. Like no matter what I did, there's just like a positive comment somehow, you know. And so when he passed away, it was kind of just me. It was kind of like I do know like I have supporters here, but there's like that difference where like not every one of my posts now is ever going to have like that same comment over and over again. And I think it was tough for me to deal with because I was just like, I think it put stuff in perspective at that moment for me, where it was just like there's a lot of things that you shouldn't have to take for granted,
Granted.
even as simple as like a Facebook comment.
Yeah,
So that
it's the little things that add up like that. Like I feel that really. So, shout out to all
yeah,
like
I think
the shout out to all the Filipino grandpas, lolos, lolas, all our family. We love you guys.
Yeah, you know
And
what?
hold them tight.
Throughout your entire, musical career, who are the people or friends or family along the way that really inspired you?
inspired me to be a musician or just like to keep
Yeah, to
going.
just to keep going, having that self-confidence, and if you could like give advice on people looking for that self-confidence that are scared to put themselves out there, what can you say?
I think my family is definitely the biggest reason why I keep going. You know, um, I mean they pick me up whenever I'm really low, and whether my song is good or bad, they always find a way to support it. Um, so like that's always a plus side. I think to find self confidence, you have to be at peace with yourself, honestly. Um, and that's not an easy task. I think it's easier said than done on like and it took me a long time to get to where I am, where I'm comfortable with allowing myself to be vulnerable writing and all that stuff. But I think it I think I benefit from knowing that like how Filipinos are with their families and stuff. So like they're super supportive like no matter what. So I think I appreciate that all the time.
Time across the, globe, how has that influenced your life from musical to not? You've been to Japan, to France, to I mean, sorry, Italy, and all over. How has that influenced you?
I've been really lucky to be able to travel. to different places. My parents made sure that, you know, my brother and I always get really good vacations because, you know, it's the best way to spend time with your family. And not only that, you know, you're allowing yourself to be humbled by different cultures that you're not, you know, usually around. You know, like they always say like America is like the melting pot and stuff, but like everybody here acts like an American. So it's like your race might be different and stuff, but like you know, we all act the same in America. So when you go out to different countries, obviously there's differences that you notice.
Do you
So
feel like
like
an outcast though? Like when you go to different countries, like France, you ever been like, yeah, I stand out here? Wow.
yeah, I mean, there was one time in France where my dad and I were just sitting outside because it was so hot. We were just sitting outside for to get some sort of like to hide from the heat, you know. And we were on our iPhones, right? And this lady gets like security guards or something to kick us out, right? Oh, just by sitting there, right? Because we wanted shade, and like I was just like, it's like man, I'm on an iPhone, man. Like everybody has an iPhone.
Oh
Like
man.
what you try to do? And so like yeah, there are times where I definitely feel like not an outcast, but I'm definitely an outsider to the culture. Like I still have a lot to comprehend when I'm there, and it's a learning experience all the time. But I at the same time, it's really enjoyable.
I'm sorry. I'm still wondering. Like, what did she think you were doing? Like,
I
yeah.
honestly don't know, man. I think I hope it was just a case of she didn't want anybody loitering around.
Oh, yeah.
But I think my most favorite place to have visited so far was Japan. Man, it's so clean there,
That's a bucket list,
and
definitely. I've kind of heard
dude,
with other people too, just like it's the best tourist spot actually. So
you
one day,
have to
yeah.
go. You have to go, man.
Anything that stood out, like animate, yeah. A lot of YouTubers I follow, there was just like some anime
Was
store and everything, but
was that
for the
Tokyo?
part, yeah, Tokyo, yeah, I think it is Tokyo.
I wanted to go to the Pokemon Center there,
Right,
but
right, that
um,
was the one. Yeah.
my mom had an itinerary, so like I had little things to do except you know follow the itinerary. I mean, it was really dope. I think you should visit Mount Fuji, right?
Oh,
It
yeah.
gets super cold when as you reach the top. It gets super cold, and I was wearing shorts, being super like a tourist because I just came from the Philippines to Japan, right? So I'm wearing
Hmm.
a t-shirt, shorts, and then like I decided to eat some ice cream. So I was like freezing at the top of Mount Fuji, and everybody around me is like wearing coats and stuff, and I was just like, wow, I can't relate. You know, I can't be warm right now.
Oh man.
Is it true that you know only one phrase in Japanese?
Well, I mean, like there's
Uh,
I don't want to like make myself look dumb by pronouncing them wrong, but like,
Watashi wa futurimasu. Am I saying that right, Kyle?
dude, I don't even know if I say it right. Like, I think it's like watashi wa furetorimasu, but I don't even know if that's it.
Roughly
I just,
translates to "I'm fat."
I, yeah, I'm fat.
Why did you feel like that in Japan? Like, is there
No,
specific foods in there?
we were in the car, and I was joking around with my cousins because like they only speak Japanese, obviously, so their English is limited, and they speak Tagalog better than they speak English. So I went on Google Translate and was like, "I'm fat," you know, like I translated it, and then they started laughing while we were driving.
Uh,
It's kind of funny. I actually wrote a song about Japan.
yeah, I was just about to say, when is that about to drop?
I don't know if I'll ever drop that.
Oh,
Oh, it's something
yeah,
for you. Yeah.
Well,
You always did that one song, but kind of. You're not
I
ready
want to
yet, kind of.
perfect it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like dude, there's just so many things in Japan that was such a culture shock to me, and I was just like, dude, I wish I could like stay here for like 3 months just to know what everything is and everything. Like rest stops here in America are just like a bathroom break and maybe a Cinnabon or something, right? And rest stops in Japan, it's like a whole mall, man. Like, you've
wow.
never seen it before. It's huge. It's like amazing. Like I went to the rest stop and I was just like, you could spend 3 hours in a rest stop here and not get bored.
Is there one place that you wish you want to go to as a bucket list?
That's on my bucket list. Um, London. I've always wanted to go to London. I kind of want to test out my English accent there, but I don't think it'd be appreciated much.
You know, speaking of uncut
I
or
agree, actually, with
unreleased
Burnout.
songs of your through my immense research, you actually had quite a lot that you might be holding on to. Which one of yours that you've done is your favorite?
That I hold on to.
Yeah, that and you'd like to speak on or
Um, there's a couple songs that I like that I hold on to, mostly because I just don't think they're shareable. Like I think my vocals are kind of rough on it, but I was just like, if I could have got it right, it would have been really nice. I think there's one called it's called Not Perfect. I might drop that. I don't know if I will, but it's basically like there's a guy who's chasing after this girl, and like he just has to come to terms with the fact that he's not perfect, and then just like kind of just be okay with that, and then I come in and I think I have the verse with me. um yeah, so basically my verse is just like, if I told you that like I had feelings for you, would that change your rejection, right? Because like I know I'm not perfect, but I'm like trying, so like would that be enough, type of thing. So
one of my
that's one of the
favorites that
songs.
you one of my favorites that you did was a song for your aunt, the wedding song that you did titled what was it titled again? Sorry.
Oh, the wedding song for my tita is First Choice.
Yeah. I thought that was really beautiful as a little gift to her. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I think sometimes your lyrics are arguably really clever. You know, did you have like an educational background on that or who trained you? Was it your parents?
No, I never got professional training in just writing lyrics and stuff. I kind of just like would listen to different artists and be like, oh, I like the wordplay here, and just pick up on it. And that's how I got better. I think when I was in high school, I was writing music, and a friend of mine, she was just like, your choruses are really catchy, but your verses, they lack substance. So that's what pushed me to kind of make the whole song good. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's hard for
Who
someone to
who's
actually
trained
like
you?
point that out, really. Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
Well,
get
she
any?
was she was um she was really good at music. She is musically inclined. She's been doing music since she was a kid. So um, I respected her input a lot, you know. And
Cuz
and I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to impress her a little. So
I know myself personally where I've been trying to practice singing, so I'll try and sing every day. Is that a thing that you try to accumulate yourself to or would your parents help you out?
um, early on, I think pre my first release on Spotify, my dad would make me, not make me, but he would set up a karaoke machine and then like tell me to sing, so like I could stretch out my vocal cords a little more and stuff. My mom, on the other hand, she was in choir, so she's like really good at singing. Like, and I remember she went on a cruise. It's just her and my dad, and she did this like little singing contest, and she got to be Whitney Houston for a day or something. And you know how Whitney Houston songs are, man. That range is insane. So like, I always take my mom's advice. I just like singing a lot, so I just do it naturally, I guess. I don't really just tell myself I need to practice. I should practice, to be honest. I should, but um, I like I said earlier, I'm just a natural procrastinator. So whenever I say I'm gonna practice, it's probably like 3 seconds, and then I'm done, and I get bored of it.
I guess I have a question actually. So like, do you think that most artists really need that kind of like vocal practice? Because I've heard a lot of people that go through that said, yeah, they need at least one. And really, I kind of have to like agree because like a lot of people don't exactly know how to use their voice effectively. And I'm kind of curious to know how it is too, because something to do with like the larynx or something like that in the vocal cords. But I mean, yeah. Like, how do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah. Do you think
yeah, I
you'll ever
definitely
try
agree
that?
with that. I think I'll try at one point to do some sort of vocal lessons. Although my parents just keep telling me to search up YouTube.
I,
You know,
I was
just
gonna
to
say
sing
that
in
too.
the
Actually, you just
Filipino way.
yeah. There's not like I don't think it's really just like you have to pay someone to like, teach you. It's more of yeah. You can also look at just YouTube videos actually. If anything,
It's like
really, I feel like we're just gonna end up doing that later on in life.
it's like
Yeah.
I've had times where I'm like, I think I would benefit from some sort of vocal lessons, right? I don't exactly think of myself like as the best singer in the world. I don't think I'm terrible. I think I'm decent.
Mhm.
And like I know I can get to a point where I'm really good, I guess. I think that's safe to say that I could be really good vocally.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said it any other like any other way too. So. Yeah.
But like I've had friends that told me like they saw my first YouTube video and then they listened to my latest song and they can kind of see the difference, you know? And
Ah.
I think if that's possible, then like I think I could somehow benefit from vocal lessons, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the number one thing coming from all your videos I've seen is that you have tremendous potential. I think you're really talented, and I'm really excited for that future of it, you know? I think
Thanks,
you
man.
keep talking about how your parents, your mom and dad, how they raised you. I hear that you are dedicating a song to them. Is that true?
Yeah, so I have a song coming out on August 31st. And it's called Your Smile in the Morning. And it's I dedicated it to my parents because my mom kept talking about when they renew their vows or something, um, that she would like to dance to Bruno Mars' one song. It was unreleased. I think it's forgot what it's called, but I was just like if they would dance to any song or listen to one song,
I think I know
I
what you're
kind of hope
talking
it'd be
about.
mine because I have the opportunity, you know.
Yeah.
So um, I wrote Your Smile in the Morning because I came up with the thought process that when you're a child, right, your first ever like experience or observation of love is your parents, right? Um, like actual love, not just like your crushes on girls and stuff, you know. Um, and one thing that like I came up with while thinking about that idea for the song was that the true maintenance of a relationship isn't just good communication and trust and all that, right? That's a given. But I think one thing that's like I think not talked about the most is that you have to fall in love with that person in different ways every single day, and that's a challenge in and of itself. So I chose the morning because you reset in the morning and you have to do things over again. So like in the morning, you have to start finding not you don't even know it yourself, but you're going to start finding new ways to fall in love with that same person.
Kyle Rojas, where do you see yourself 2 years from now?
Oh, hopefully done college,
Hmm.
hopefully I was able to walk in my graduation because I don't know right now. I don't know what it's gonna look like. uh,
Oh man, this can be for after the interview, but I had to go through that. Don't
but
worry about it. But
I hope to be in 2 years. I hope to be a computer programmer, full time, and I want to move out to the West Coast. So I hope to be in the West Coast by then.
Do you
that's very
find
nice.
your love for programming to influence or have a clash with your music? Whether it be creating your own website or being an expert at the audio technical aspect of things?
I, I I've always tried to keep them separate because I don't want to burn out from both. I really love both equally. Sometimes I love programming more, to be honest, because it's nice to use your brain and run code and be like, wow, it actually worked, like, and then like be pissed off when it doesn't work. I think
Yeah.
it's a good emotion
Hmm.
thing. Um,
You know, Speaking of the sensation of burnout, because as a content creator myself, I get that where I feel like I have self doubt or you're just not into it at the time. How do you, reevaluate that as a person?
um, so what I did was I after having after I released Heaven, I stopped making music, like stopped releasing music altogether, because I wanted to take time for myself and then progress as a writer and stuff. So I think the healthiest thing when you start to feel that burnout, I think it's to take a step back and kind of just not touch it for a while and allow yourself to, I guess, miss the craft itself. And then when you start feeling like you miss it the most, come back and then revisit it and see what you can do now.
Yeah, you got to hold on to those ideas and, look at them again later, and then you'll
Do you mind saying the longest like break you've had between like your last song that you wrote to
content.
your recent one? Say that, I guess.
So I did Heaven in 2019, I think, or maybe 2018. I'm not really sure when I released that one. So it might have been 1 year, it might have been 2 years. I took a step back because I to be honest, I don't have Dumb or Heaven saved on my Spotify. Because like I just don't think that they were the best representation of my artistry or like how I can progress in as an artist. I keep it there on my Spotify kind of just to listen to how I grow, you know?
Well, that's good. I'm saying,
But
yeah.
I couldn't tell you that I'm proud of them. I couldn't tell you.
Kyle Rojas,
Yeah.
can you finish this quote, please? If you keep staring at the sun, you won't see what you have become, by Post Malone. Why does that quote
Oh,
inspire you so much?
oh, there are times where like I find these quotes or on my Twitter, I write down these quotes. It's kind of just to remind myself to take time for myself to understand myself more. Because like doctors will always tell you to be healthy, but they're always talking about your body, not your mental state. So like, I think it's especially in this day and age with how social media works and stuff. I think it's always healthy to remind yourself that you need to take care of yourself and that you appreciate yourself, and you still have much more to learn about who you are as a person. And like, I saw this quote the other day actually, where it was like, change the things that you can and accept the things that you can't. And like, I was just like, oh well, that's a good reminder of something I need to do on a daily basis because I don't do it a lot, you know. So
Speaking of
that's
quotes, oh yeah. Yeah, speaking of quotes, I'd like to break down some of your own lyrics. So here we go. First one here we got. Like Ross dated Rachel, need you in my life. I just want to prove to you that
that I need you in my life.
yeah, I'm not here for the night.
Oh, that. Yeah, I'm awful with my lyrics.
Only you can judge that, actually. I thought it was pretty
No, I like
cute.
that
Yeah.
reference because
I mean,
it
like
really
I'm awful
speaks.
at remembering songs that I
Yeah,
wrote
yeah, I know
a
what you
long
mean.
time
Right.
ago, you know.
Oh, okay.
So I gotta ask, from that song, is it like, is Friends one of your favorites, or is it The Office?
Um,
Because you actually
I can
met
tell
Craig
you,
Robinson.
yeah, I met Craig Robinson. I met the girl who played Meredith Palmer on The Office. I'm still hoping I can meet Jenna Fisher because she's my celebrity crush. You know, Pam's hot, to be honest. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, don't worry, I got her number, so I'll connect you guys.
That line,
Not
the
that
Ross
famous.
Rachel line that's in that song was because at the time my family was like binge watching Friends, you know, and the girl that I was with at the time, um, I know that she watched Friends at one point, or I know Friends played a part of her life at one point. So that line just came out of being purely natural, I guess. I think it just came out of my mind, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, you know. Because like I was gonna do Jim and Pam, but I was just like, you know, man, I don't want to do that to myself.
Kyle, remind the
I guess.
people where we can find you. You're on Spotify and
I'm on
SoundCloud?
SoundCloud and YouTube. I also have an Instagram.
I'm
It's
dropping that right now.
kr.wave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean WAV, or it's kr.wav. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Wait.
SoundCloud is purely for songs that will never make
Hold on,
my
I'm sorry. I just got that. Your Instagram's a dot sound file. Dot
Yes.
wav.
Wow.
Wow, I've been in school too much now.
I originally had it as MP3, but then I was like, I think WAV is better.
No one
Yeah.
knows about it. Actually, I didn't learn it.
Yeah, so I use SoundCloud for songs that will never make it into my Spotify.
Hmm.
So if I ever release something on SoundCloud, just know that you'll never see it on my Spotify. You might see it on my YouTube, but YouTube is just like, honestly, at this point, I just put whatever I want on YouTube. I think whenever I'm like, oh, this is a YouTube song, I'll put it there. But if it's not, I'll never touch it. Yeah.
It's
Speaking one of your SoundCloud songs, Winter Bear, you play, I think, a little piano in there. What other instruments do you play? I know you play ukulele and a little bit guitar.
For Winter Bear, I didn't do the instrumentals. I saw this guy who did an instrumental cover of Winter Bear. But I do play a little piano. I'm not like a Mozart or anything like that.
Is there one instrument you would love to learn how to play?
Love to learn how to play. That's a good one, actually.
Is there anything that you would like? You would much rather not touch it at all. Like this is kind of a waste of time. Like,
while you're thinking of that, I actually learned a lot of violin in middle school, and I could always never get back into it, but I would always love if I master that again.
See, I would love to learn the violin because it's so soothing.
Yeah.
I think one instrument that I don't think I'd ever touch, it's a toss-up. I don't really like the banjo that much, to be honest. Or the trumpet. And I know I just offended banjo players and trumpet players. I don't mean to, but I don't like their sounds, to be honest. So I've never touched that. My favorite instrument is the ukulele, guitar, or the drums.
a lot of strings actually, and the drums is a very generic percussion. I can relate to that. Actually.
Yeah, I tried to play drums. I had a tiny drum set, and my brother, when we were kids, he took these two pencils. I don't know if maybe he was a little envious or something. He stabbed my snare drum with the pencil right through. My parents tried to tape it. I remember they tried to tape it, but the tape didn't work out as well sonically.
Ray's been trying to practice drums himself.
Is
there anything you'd like to ask Kyle on, maybe some musical?
I got two
techniques?
insights though. For one, never underestimate tape. I had to take the how do you call it? The kick pad together because there's no other way to like screw it in. Never underestimate tape. And two, like, how old are you? How old are you when that happened?
I was probably around the age of 6, maybe 7. I was young. I mean, like oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the first instrument I ever really asked my parents to buy for me was a guitar. It was the first that guitar that I got from a Walmart, and I just thought it was sick because there were flames on the guitar, and I was like, "Yo, I need this."
Yeah.
Then you realize you plug it in, like the sound's a little bit more off or something. I don't know.
No, it was an acoustic. It was an acoustic guitar. I never learned anything except open strumming. Open strumming was my forte. Not any chords or anything. So I did write my first song when I was 10, and it was called "When You Look Me in the Eyes." But the Jonas Brothers came out with a song called "When You Look Me in the Eyes." So then I stopped writing. I stopped writing because I felt so bad. I was like, "Oh, we had the same titles. Oh, this can't happen."
Who did it first?
It was me. It was me. It was obviously me.
Well, there you go. See?
Watch out, Jonas Brothers. We're gonna sue you.
I ended up still writing music throughout that, I would show my grade school music teacher, and she would always be like, "Oh, you should put this in poetry like contest and stuff." And like I'd always get confused because I'm like, I don't write poetry. I write
You write,
lyrics.
yeah. You would think that both of them are actually different, when really it's just like it's a
Yeah, it's pretty
feeling
much the
generated.
same. And she was just like, I really like how you write and stuff. So then I was just like, I was so confused because then I was like, okay, maybe I'll just try writing poems now. So like I started writing poems, but they were shit. So I was like, so yeah, that's how I got into music. I think the first real music experience I had was an old movie called That Thing You Do.
With Tom Hanks, I think.
Yeah, my parents told me that whenever they put on the movie, I would just start drumming with whatever.
That's cool.
See, you're always born for this. This musical side of you. I'm really excited for your future projects. You know, to wind down this interview, I'll just say one quote here. Without music, life is a journey throughout a desert. I mean, yeah, through a desert by Pat Conroy. You know, that's on your website. Why does that quote, you know, translate to you so, you know, vividly?
I think music plays a huge part of my life, to be honest. I know that's like a super cliche thing to say, but it's really helped me heal a lot of wounds that, you know, I didn't know how to deal with. And it's always been there for me no matter what. And I think that even when I stop releasing music from my Spotify, I think I'll always continue to write music, you know, even as I get super old. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you'll see me release a banger when I'm 80 years old on my
With a
Spotify.
You're looking
banjo.
out, right? See?
With the banjo and a trumpet.
Yeah, surprise us.
Yeah.
The things that
You can get James to
Yeah.
help you out with saxophone too. You know, our good
Oh,
old friend
God.
James.
I remember I would always mess with him and be like, "Yo, can you play Careless Whisper for me?" Like
on the on a trumpet or a sax.
on a saxophone.
All right.
Bro, it's
I'd be
like
surprised if you put it on a trumpet. Actually, that would actually sound really cool. We'll see.
well, it's okay. I just like when I was in middle school and a little bit in grade school, I was in like our school band. I was playing the most manly thing ever, you know, the flute. I was playing the flute.
Hot cross buns.
Yeah, we played hot cross buns, and
I got flashbacks to our
remember-
recorder days, back in like
Oh, man.
elementary school, and I thought like,
Dude, we
oh,
did,
I was gonna do beats in this.
we did We Will Rock You for our winter performance. And I think I remember, I was like, I don't remember any of the notes, but I was just like, C, E, F, G, C, E, F, G the whole time. Because it's the most basic notes I know. So, and then like, I remember feeling like such a rock star afterwards, but honestly, probably not contributing at all to the band.
Well, look where we are now. You know, shows them.
I guess,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, I got some stuff in the works, you know, after this release. So we'll see. I do plan on ending the whole Spotify release thing at one point. I think it's more like when I start my career as a computer programmer.
Oh, you might take a really long break.
I might take a really long break, honestly. I think I want to, you know, obviously become focused on my job and focused on heading out west because that's I honestly love. I'll just say I love California. You know,
It's
I
I
love
feel
it
like
there.
it's for everyone. I don't know. California is always the end goal for a lot of like creators and artists, stuff like that too. And I
I'm
just
not a-
happen to see it. No.
Yeah, I'm not a SoCal guy though. I'm like a NorCal guy.
We'll bring it to there,
so-
actually. Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
be
'cause, like, I
careful of
was-
the
I was in
Starbucks,
LA.
Kyle.
I was in LA and I remember I was just standing in front of this store and this girl was like, excuse me, but you're in my photo. And I was just like, what? I was like, are you kidding me? I was
Oh
like,
my
move.
gosh,
I'm
these
like,
people.
"Ma'am."
Yeah, I don't know.
You messed up that influencer shot.
Yeah, I know.
I
I
was
was just
gonna
like,
Little did she know she was talking to future famous Kyle Rojas.
I know.
Oh man,
Like
I
you should
don't
be
know
like
if I'll
you're
ever.
ruining my like I'm in the process of doing something too, mentally thinking for the next song. You
Yeah.
ruined me.
Yo,
There you go.
collab.
Sing.
Bro,
Kyle.
I spent like probably not even like maybe even an hour or two in Venice, like Venice Beach. So like
Yeah.
I didn't really get to experience California that much. I went to San Francisco when I was young, and we drove around in a PT Cruiser. My only memory of that
Oh, I
is
see.
going to the Jelly Belly factory, and I tasted because like they have this one place. I don't know if it's still there where you can like ask someone to give you one jelly bean so you could taste it. And I remember I tasted this really nasty one, and like I threw up into the trash can. Man, I was like, "Yo, this is not it." I haven't eaten a jelly bean since. So like,
You
Oh
were
no.
bamboozled.
it ruined it. It ruined it for me.
Oh man.
Kyle
Yeah,
Rojas.
I love San Francisco, bro.
Travel tip though. I don't know exactly if you're from like the north or the east, but the beaches in the west side, they're not exactly what you expect. I went to Santa Monica and I thought it was gonna be hot, like 90-degree hot. That it was it was 80. I was like,
Yeah,
I need to wear a jacket. What the heck? Like this is a
dude,
beach,
they say
right?
that the traffic is awful, and it's awful
Oh
in
yeah, no,
LA.
that's
LA
never
is
yeah.
awful.
That's just
I
awful.
was just
That's
like,
a
am I
straight
in
fact.
California or am I in the Philippines, fam?
Hmm. You have the traffic of LA, and then once someone decides to go ahead and just start swerve to the left lane like they do in the Philippines, then that's when
Bro, the
that's when death
Philippines
tolls
driving is
surprise.
insane.
Hmm.
It's insane over there.
Have you been like, yeah? Have you drove to the Philippines? I'm like
Have
curious
I
to know
have
that
I driven
actually.
in the Philippines, dude?
Yeah,
I was so close to so like my cousins let me um drive in the Philippines in
I'd be
our
scared
subdivision,
actually. Yeah.
right? And like my mom saw me, like she looked back and she immediately stopped, like, because they were in front, right? And I was just like, oh, cool, I got my first driving experience in the Philippines. You know, I can overtake people. I could feel like I could feel like a true Filipino. You know what I'm talking about? And then like my mom looked back, or someone looked back, and then told my mom, and she made me get out of the car, and she didn't let me drive out of the subdivision. Although, if I was gonna argue, I was doing a pretty good job. Pretty doing, you know how Philippines are. It's really tight
Hmm.
there sometimes. You know, especially in subdivisions.
No,
The
yeah,
So
true
definitely. I've
Pinoy
heard that. Oh my
experience.
gosh. Yeah.
but I was doing a good job, and then my mom was like, "No, you're not driving. You're not driving, especially because like if I got arrested, I don't have an international license. It's deep trouble for me."
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Kyle, I'm
That's rough.
curious about one of your first public performances at the Mocha One. You tell me about that? How
Yeah.
did you
So
feel?
I remember I was looking at all these people at Mocha One, like all the performers, and I was just like blown away by how much talent there was. And I was like, dude, like this is crazy. Like I don't know if I can like level up to them. Especially there's this one guy who like I think it was before intermission or something. His vocals were insane, and he was just chilling. You know what I mean? Like I have to try, and he was like whatever. Like he was just like going about his business and stuff, and I was like, dang. You know, like I remember I didn't look up once at the crowd at all, and like I was just looking at my ukulele, and like my voice was shaky, and like I was just like messing up sometimes with the chords. So I think it was a good learning experience, but like God, was that nerve wracking.
Can you say that it was like a rush, like adrenaline thing that you definitely want to try again?
Bro, I would try it again. I mean, like
Oh, you would. Yeah.
the last cruise that I went on, there was an open karaoke night, right? And like it was just like I remember I went by myself because everybody else was doing something else. So I went by myself, and there was like three families, and like a back row was a bunch of girls, and I was feeling like I was like really emotional at that moment, right? So I was like, yo, I need to do something to get this emotion off of me, because like if not, I'll just build up and I'll just burst like a bubble, right? So like I did When I Was Your Man by Bruno Mars, and that was the first time I ever did anything like just off the cusp and like um, just by myself, you know. So like I remember the sorry, that's my mom.
Mhm. Totally fine.
I remember
Yeah.
the family that was sitting in front of me, right? I remember I hit this one note and like they were just like, damn. And I was just like, whoa, what did I do? Right? Like so then it threw me off so bad that I re-sang the chorus instead of finishing the song how it's supposed to be. Right. So then like I looked at the lyrics and I was just like, oh gosh, like oh my god. Like so then I finished it how it was supposed to be. And then I went back to where all the parents were, right? Like, and I felt good. I felt relieved. And then the girls saw me with my family, and they were like, "Hey, you did really good at karaoke and stuff." So I think that was a really good. That was better than how I experienced Mocha One. But then like I did it again, but with like JD and all them like watching. So like I picked a bad song to do it to because I wasn't vocally like it wasn't in my range, right? And so like I flopped in front of them and I was just like, oh god, like I should have just done it by myself, you know. I think it was way better.
Like another Bruno Mars
Yeah.
song, or just like something that fits like.
Oh,
fitted
it
your
was
voice
it
a little bit?
was it was Bruno Mars Billionaire, but I at that time I just couldn't rap the parts, man. I was just like, and Bruno
Okay.
Mars when he sang Billionaire, it was at a key that's a little higher than usual, you know. So when I tried to
Okay.
hit it, it was like, oh god, it was just awful. Like it sounded like a cat that was just like screeching a lot, you know.
Yeah, I
So
find
Yeah, something.
myself I'll have trouble with high notes. And I want to sing certain songs, like I want to sing some Stevie Nicks songs, but because it's a girl singing, I'm like I can't naturally do that. Like I want to sing Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac, but it's just like I don't know. I got to train myself to that sort of thing. You know, ladies and gentlemen, overall, Kyle Rojas is an amazing human being. And why should everyone check out your music, Kyle?
because if you're super emotional, I'm super emotional, and together we can be
We'll all
super emotional.
we'll cry together.
Kyle, to close off this interview, would you like to name drop friends and family that paved the way to be
Oh,
the man you are
definitely.
today?
I definitely have some shout outs.
Also plugins too if you haven't done that already. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Again, my Instagram is kr.wav, WAV. You can find me on Spotify. Just search up Kyle Rojas. And SoundCloud is the same thing. I want to shout out my parents, my little brother, because they're always around me. Obviously, we're quarantined together, so I can't say that they're not around that often. They're always around, you know. But they're supportive of me no matter what, and you know, they're always through thick and thin. Like honestly, it's I'm pretty lucky to have them, you know. Even though we don't agree on everything all the time, you know, but I
Family
always
value
get
comes first with
that
everything.
unconditional
Yeah.
support and love, you know. I also want to shout out Marina, because she's one of my best friends, and she's just amazing, you know. She's pretty cool. Even though she forgot about me after we first met, so we had to re-meet again. So there's that. I obviously want to shout out JD, James, Patrick, Ross, David, Dean, Jacqueline, and all my other Filipino friends who I didn't name, because there's, you know how the Filipino community is. We're huge.
Yeah.
We're a huge community.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and my relatives back at the motherland. Yes, them too.
Well,
guess it's
ladies and
motherland.
gentlemen, here's to the motherland.
Christian, where you at? Christian. Okay, so I guess this is a social media shout out for today. It's gonna be a friend of mine. It is his song, but I don't know if it's copyright. No, it's not. Okay. This is his Kyle Rojas. Go listen to his music. He's like dropping a lot of songs lately.
I'd be lying if if I didn't tell you that you cross my mind every day. And there's no point denying, so I'll just admit that you still make me feel some type of way. It's been a while since we've last spoken, but it still feels like I lost you yesterday. And it's not hard to notice that any word I said just was enough to make you stay. You told me to move on, but I think you're mistaken, 'cause every time I try, my foolish heart keeps breaking. Sorry, but I won't listen to anything you say, 'cause when I'm with you, girl, heaven doesn't feel so far away. Life's too short, babe, and I thought that you should know. At least to me, yeah, you're irreplaceable. And if I still make my way through your mind, can we just give this one last try? You told me to move on, but I think you're mistaken, 'cause every time I try, my foolish heart keeps breaking. Sorry, but I won't listen to anything you say, 'cause when I'm with you, girl, heaven doesn't feel so far away.
That was nice.